3, 2, 1.
Wow, those fellas sure seem whimsical and happy. A little too happy. It's almost like they live in like a fantasy land, a place that's made up and doesn't exist, like Angleland, the land of Angle. That's actually what they used to call England. I refuse to believe it existed. Hi again, guys, and I'm here to be mean to more British people by looking at a Twitter account I enjoy called No Context Brits. It's exactly what it sounds like, British people in their element and out of the context. It's like a little magic window into a zoo I can look through to observe this species in its natural habitat. You may have seen videos on this account before by actually British people like Will and E and that memeless schmuck who stole my whole brand. I'm gonna start you the next time I see you, George. But all those people are biased and British, so I figured we should get an outside perspective on the Brits as an American. That way we can see them for how they really are. Not people, that's for sure. If you enjoy this video, there will be this big card at the end that takes you to another one like it. And did you know less than 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on? If you sub and hit that bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always undo it later if you decide you hate me.
Good morning, Glenn.
You tell us something your mum doesn't know.
Yeah.
That man was there to do one thing, and by God did he do it. That's how the average Brit behaves when they are completely sober, by the way. Before he and the lads went out for a night on Shoreditch, they were doing exercises to get their mouths loosened up so they could fit whole microphones inside their bullets. That was the lucky score of the entire night. They all probably celebrated his deep throat achievement by gargling Smirnoff and then spitting it into each other's mouths like a mother bird does with its babies. Vandals break into Plymouth and just eat all the crisps. Get used to that god-awful, borderline offensive British accent. It's gonna show up a lot when I'm forced to read British text. I don't know if this is a common problem in the UK, but here in the US, I had a friend whose little brother would open bags of chips, or crisps if you're brain dead, and they would take out chips individually and lick all the flavoring off the chip, then put it back in the bag. Yes, exactly like in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. In fact, that's probably where the shit got the idea from. I only found out this was something he did because I ate a chip while at that friend's house and asked him why it had no flavor. His face instantly dropped and he asked me if the bag was open before I got it, and then he explained the tragedy to me, and I did not sleep at all that night. I probably brushed my teeth and mouth the best I ever had that day.
Hey? What the fuck?
You got a bird, bro.
You're walking a fucking ostrich, you daft cunt.
It's a fucking emu, yeah.
I gotta say, of all the things British people have made, the phrase daft cunt has to be one of the best. Regardless, I can respect a British person owning an emu. Those things beat the absolute tar out of the Australians in a war, and Australians are like England's failed estranged child that they don't mention to others except to make fun of them. If you watch Family Guy, Australia is like Meg, right? Fuck Meg, am I right, guys? But basically, owning an emu for Brits is like doing a Fortnite emote 20 years later after you actually got the kill on that 2-year-old default skin. Here's a similar act of disrespect I pulled. My editor, Nina, is British, and I made her root around this account for posts of British people being weird. That way she could later edit footage of me shitting on everything about the place she calls home. It's like proxy revenge for all the shit the Brits have put America through. British cuisine, best in the world. Is that like a penis, a rat, or both? Which answer do you think would make it taste better? Man, 75, uses homemade pump to spray his poo through friend's letterbox. Calling it a letterbox, now that's embarrassing. That's a site for where you put all your reviews for films, stupid. Still, that is a spry-ass 75-year-old. He has the motivation to not only stand up, incredibly hard for knees that old, but also do a DIY project to prank his friends with? That's kind of dope. I hope I manage to be half as interesting of a person when I'm retired. My only question is if the pump was shooting poop that's already been shit out, or if it was a direct nozzle to asshole attachment. Strictly no jumping. Parents, please tell your children not to jump. Oh, yeah, if any of my American viewers weren't aware, in the United Kingdom, there's a federal ban on having fun. It's supposed to make everything suck so it fits the British weather, and it preserves English history or something by making sure it's as dog shit to live there today as it was 400 years ago. If you're caught experiencing an ounce of joy in the UK, you get tarred and covered in feathers in the city port for the whole town to see. It's like a public execution, except you don't even get to escape the embarrassment by dying at the end of it. An 100-year-old London pub was illegally demolished in 2015 by greedy developers who wanted the land. They were ordered to rebuild it exactly as it was, brick by brick. The Carlton Tavern was the only building on the street that wasn't destroyed during the Blitz in World War II. Now, that's one thing I actually wish we had more of in the States. Protection and preservation for historical buildings and architecture that looks cool. And also, actual punishment for folks who, like, don't do those things. I felt like I should give y'all at least the one positive thing before I get back to the scheduled program of verbal abuse.
Your mum sold you on eBay for £2 so she could get a male stripper.
He kept a straight face through that entire thing all the way through to the end and looked around as everyone cheered him on. That lad was drunk on power and savoring his main character moment. That one instance was the peak of this fella's existence. His life was doomed to go downhill after primary school by virtue of being born in Britain. Have fun in your 20s, kid. This is as good as it gets. And on the 6th day, go create Manchester. Biggest mistake on God's part by far. I understand the joke of this tattoo, like Manchester is the greatest place on earth, according to nobody. But the whole tattoo is drawn like the Chester was added on 3 years after the original. This dude was like a religious nut at first and got this tattoo unironically to profess his love for the Lord and giving birth to man. Is God making things, giving birth to them? But then he moved to Manchester and fell in love with the place. And now he wants to show off his infatuation everywhere he goes. But there wasn't enough space on his back for full-size text anymore, so you have this monstrosity. Man baptized and flooded roundabout underpass. You know, this could have easily been a Florida Man headline. The place he's getting dunked in even kind of looks like the swamps you find out there. The only giveaway that this is the United Kingdom at all is that weird lime concrete look they put on all their walls, and the fact they spelled baptized with an S. The word very clearly makes a Z sound. Z, baptized. And y'all call Z's Z as well. The entire situation is embarrassing for you guys.
There's no way.
That is the final boss of motorhomes. I honestly had no idea those little mopeds could even pull something that heavy. If you have a trailer home, you need to move around so you don't get a ticket, but can't afford a car. If you do have one of those motorized grocery carts, it'll get the job done. Apparently, at least, according to this one video I saw on Twitter, drunk man, 26, is jailed for 8 weeks after he tried to have sex with a pile of leaves in a Premier Inn car park. I love how leaves is in all capitals, like the leaves specifically are the worst part about this. If this drunk guy was having sex in public with a pile of some other type of thing, say bags of shit, it would be less weird. But a pile of leaves, how do you even get turned on by that? By the second or third really loud crunch, he must have thought he killed whoever his drunk brain thought he was having sex with. England fans banned from entering World Cup stadiums in Qatar in full Crusader costumes. This news site thought they were being cheeky, but they literally made their logo one of the dudes in the picture. They're trying to make it seem like an impartial news story that they're just reporting on. Oh, look at these crazy Brits pulling a stunt overseas. But that little dude next to their name is a silent show of support for what these guys were trying to do, and gives away why they covered this at all. They support it, they believe in it. So I told Dean to lay down on the floor, and he actually did it, you absolute madman. This is exactly the same as the picture of the girl with a bag of chicken nuggets on her head in the middle of the frozen aisle at Walmart, and her friend saying that she's crazy for this one. I'm not sure if I should be ashamed or heartwarmed that the idea of someone doing something pretty tame and then being treated as an insane person transcends the Atlantic Ocean.
Watch him, watch him, watch him, watch him.
What's going on?
The fact of the matter is, if these things weren't meant to be laid down on, then they shouldn't have been flat. You should have put anti-homeless spikes on them. That way people would know you can't sleep on it. And you especially should not have put them next to each other in a way that would support a human trying to spin around on them. I specifically say a human because Brits are human, but they are not people. Just don't turn up the speed too high on the escalators or this guy will start spinning fast enough to take off into battle against the Viet Cong. Man whose penis and testicles were bitten off and eaten by bulldog was alone in a room with the animal and had peanut butter spread on his crotch. Wow, that bulldog attacked with completely no reason, totally unprovoked. What a violent animal. Jokes aside, listen, even if you are one of those pit bull or bulldog haters out there, can you really put this one on the dog? This guy was trying to get his dick licked by an animal. As far as I'm concerned, this was self-defense on the dog's part.
4 years ago, I was doing trolleys at Sainsbury on a Monday night. I left, worked hard, and got a degree from University of Sheffield. Now I'm doing trolleys at Waitrose on a Friday night. Never give up.
Here's your problem. You got a degree in Sheffield. That place is literally purgatory. For Christ's sake, Morgs lives there. Anything that happens in that town is in limbo for eternity. It's arguably not real. You should have stepped outside of city limits when taking those online classes, and you could have been a millionaire with that degree by now.
Yes, England have won, but can people have some respect that it's not appropriate to have fireworks going off at 10:45 p.m. when kids are in bed and also people's cats? My cat's out and you get some idiots letting fireworks off.
That's definitely the worst one I've done so far. But look at this cop wannabe trying to enforce that English no fun allowed law. What a party pooper.
Fuck your cat, it's coming home.
Okay, please don't fuck the cat. I understand the owner's being a buzzkill, but fucking the cat is not gonna solve any of that. I love how you can tell this video is in the UK because of the small amount of the outdoors you can see through the doorway. The back of that car is a British one if I've ever seen it, and my god, the state of those roads. No other curbs in Europe get that grimy by just sitting there. British concrete is special. There really is nothing like that stinky shithole across the pond, and I unironically love going there, and I plan on doing it again soon. Why are your feet seasoned better than the chicken? Man, that's absolutely grody. But since I've outed myself as someone who actually likes the UK, let me give a half-decent reason. They have really good chicken. I'm not shitting you when I say that KFC is better in England than it is in Kentucky. The menu there is just so much better, it's not even funny. Even when you move away from fast food, Nando's is one of the most reliable chain restaurants in the world. It has been 3 years since I've had a wing roulette from them, and I have been craving it ever since. The chicken chops there are incredible.
Sorry, Mum. Phoned you by accident.
I'm sorry, you phoned her? Talk like a normal person. Hey, no worries. I had you by accident. That's not even mean. That's just how they say hello in that part of the world. How about you try not to be so judgmental of other cultures before you assume the worst next time, huh? M&S food, I say in strong quotations. They are really stretching the definition of food with this one. Check it out. Full English hot breakfast, served with baked beans, sausage, egg, tomato, and bacon. I will never forget this. A few years back, I spent a month out in London, and on the first day, Fraser Einabber, a man I trusted, takes me to a breakfast place he swears by and says is really good. So I sit down and order a full English breakfast because I'm in a new place and I'm excited to experience other cultures. I want to see what they have to offer here. And then they put fucking beans right next to my already runny egg. The yolk got touched by Heinz bean juice. I was very close to declaring a second American Revolution. In fact, I'm off to plan that right now, so I'm gonna wrap this up here. That card I mentioned should be on screen. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. British people do plenty of crazy things out of context, so we could always do another of these. Remember, don't go after anyone I talked about today because that's cringe, and this is all meant in good fun. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'm off to colonize England.